What's the difference between a mentor, consultant, coach, and advisor? Who the hell even cares? The real question is, do you have at least one? What you call it is irrelevant. It's what they do that is important. I can think of 10 reasons right now to clarify your thinking, to see further on the shoulders of giants, quicker speed to solution. They show you a different perspective. They're not emotionally attached. They help you avoid fuck-ups. They can tell you no. They hold you accountable. They affirm when you're on the right track, and they give you a greater certainty of success. But let's dig deep on 3. Number 1 is to clarify your thinking. How many times do we get stuck not sure what to do when we loop around in circles, the positive, the negative, the positive, the negative, or worse, we get confirmation bias. We can only see things a certain way. Let me give you a great example of this. About 15 years ago, I got stuck. I kind of plateaued in revenue and I couldn't figure out how to break through that ceiling to get to a 7-figure revenue. So I sought out a mentor, somebody who was in his 60s at the time. He had a decades of business experience. But to go to the meeting, he's from America, but he was in London. He was staying at the Ritz Hotel and he agreed to meet me. But he said, I want to see your business plan. So I really thought, and it forced me to kind of document what I was going to do to grow my business. And I went along to kind of get his feedback on the plan. But truthfully, I was also looking to show off. I felt really good. Within about 10 minutes, he ripped that plan to shreds. He said, Dan, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Why would you do all this extra stuff to grow your revenues? Why not just do the same thing, only better, and make much more money? When he went into it, it was so obvious. He clarified my thinking. Why would I do it any other way? In the next 12 months, I doubled my revenues, but more importantly than that, I trebled my profits, and it all came out of the clarified thinking. You don't need to do more to get more. That clarity of thought comes from an outside perspective, a fresh set of eyes looking at your business. So you always want expertise, perspective to be given to you to help clarify your thinking and clarify the path, the route which you need to take. Let me give you another example. I was doing a sanity session for a client, and on the core business, things were pretty tight. There was no profound epiphanies that were really going to make it a massive breakthrough. And then he told me what he was going to do with the profits. He told me about a property investment business that he wanted to go into. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. In about 30 seconds, I pointed out to him multiple fatal flaws in that plan and why it would not work, why it was a bad idea. And you could see the lights come on. All of a sudden, he realized he'd not even thought about those negative consequences. How much time and money did he save by getting that clarity in advance rather than going down that rabbit hole, screwing up and having it blow up in his face? That is the power of having an outside perspective give you clarity of thinking. Number 2, they give you speed to solution. In life, you get rewarded for getting the results. You don't get paid more by taking a longer time to do things. It's about getting the result more quickly, and you can learn from the mistakes of others. You can get there quicker. You can shortcut the path to success. Let me give you an example of that. One of my favorite clients, Nick, had a mid-6-figure revenue business, pretty profitable, but it was very mid-market. And one little distinction that we made was that he could increase the price and the conversion rate didn't go down. So of course that price increase all added to his bottom line, which suddenly meant he had surplus cash which he could reinvest in the business to grow. The more he grew, the more dominant he became in his marketplace. He got quicker speed to solution because I was able to see he was making a mistake that I'd seen many people do before, and I also knew how to solve the problem. So he was able to piggyback on my experience and cut out all the drama in the middle. Ultimately, it grew his company and allowed him to get multiple 7 figures net profit without the company being dependent on him. Number 3, and I think one of the most important, is to avoid fuck-ups. In the very first session with a new client, their accounts were in a mess. And I asked them a series of questions to go back and relay to their accountant to help clarify and fix the problem. But yet when they came back several months later, they were no further forward. It became clear to me that it wasn't the client that was the problem, it was the accountant. So I encouraged them to switch to an accountant that I knew would do a good job, and I'm glad we did. Here's why. As soon as the new accountant got into the books, he was able to uncover some shocking mistakes. Several £100,000 of legitimate business expenses were being incorrectly claimed and put against the director's loan account. That means he was paying tax as though he was making more profits than he actually was. Had he not fixed that fuck up, those problems would have continued to plague him and cost him many hundreds of thousands of pounds. Here's an even better example. In the first session with another new client, I was quickly able to see that they were about to pay £150,000 too much to their soon-to-be ex-husband, all because their accountant was going to value their company incorrectly, rather than get a professional business valuation done. So if they hadn't brought in a professional valuation, that fuck up would have cost her £150,000. So the next question is, how do you find one? I think it's very important to find somebody that you gel with. So if I've annoyed you in this video, we probably wouldn't be a good fit. But if you resonated with what I've said, please book a sanity session with me and we can get to know each other better.